the way you should, you know, do and rock in that 3 to 5 minutes. So I'll start, and the specialty of today's webinar is that you will be at least able to see us as well. So let's start in 2 minutes, and I'm giving you a pause. Thank you so much. Hello friends. So could you see my face? I mean, you could see me, right? Okay, thank you so much. So let's start. The specialty of today's visa, as I said, that I've got a special trainer for you guys. So I'm gonna start, not waiting for other students to come down. Okay, so a webinar on visa interview prepared by Mr. Abby, which is me. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? So an overview is again that we're gonna talk to the students about what is a student visa, preparing to apply for an F1 student visa, what exactly you need to know, Section 214B, the U.S. Immigration and Nationality Act. We're also going to talk to you about the article from the U.S. Embassy, what a visa officer expects from you as a student, or recommended documents to take to the visa interview, visa question and the answer, and the visa tips. And then we're going to talk about the body language today. So the agenda is very clear. In the next 1 hour, you'll be able to learn that how you could succeed in your visa interview, keeping a couple of things in mind. Honestly, this year has not been good for the US visa interviewers. So we've been getting this feedback from the university, from the visa consulate team, where we have some relationship with. But students, you could still make it, you can still go and attend your visa interview, you could make it, but you really need to know what we're going to explain you today. So let's go. Okay, so what's a student visa? So you must have a student visa to study in the United States. Your course of study and the type of school you plan to attend determine whether you need an F1 or M1. So if you're going for academic, that's F1. If you're going for vocational summer program, it could be M1. But all of you are going for an academic program, so you are going on a F1 student visa. What we need to know about the F1 visa student. So F1 visa is called as a student visa, which is valid for 5 years. Okay, the 5 years is what that you would be needing to know, that your validity for the visa is going to be the 5 years. Student visa is a non-immigrant visa. What it means, that non-immigrant, it means that's a temporary visa. Of course, you're going on a student visa, officer will grant you a visa if you talk to them about that I have a purpose of study and coming back plan and have a great future in my home country. No matter whether you're from India, you're from Congo, you're from Africa, you're from Tanzania, you're from Thailand, you gotta go to your respected country when you complete your master's program or a bachelor's program. That's the goal. If you talk to them about it, to the visa officer, they offer you an admission, they offer you a visa. But if you show your intention of staying in the US for the longer period of time, or due to some other thing which you want to do, it won't work there. Okay, so it's valid for 5 years, and you need to know a couple of things in order to get your visa and explain the visa officer that why you should be given a visa. So is this an honest student? So thinking about a visa officer is looking in you, that they want to know that you're an honest student, you're a serious student, you have sufficient funding. It could be from you or your own sponsor, of coming back to home country. Ties can be family, economic, employment, social, emotional ties. Why this is important? Because if you want to go there and settle down, apply for green card. If you want to go there and work, in the apply for H1 visa. Why you are applying on a student visa and going there for work? So you should have clear intention of, I am going to study because I'm an honest student, I'm a serious student, I've got sufficient from my sponsor, and of course I'm gonna act because I've got a family here, I've got a better job opportunities here, I have emotional ties. Probably you are about to get married and you have your fiance here, probably you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend that you want to get married in future, right? Some sort of ties which you need to prove that you would be coming back or will come back home. So why they want to know, like why they deal with the honest student, even if you lie to them, what the problem the officers are having? Okay, one of the universal values shared by all cultures, all humankind is truthfulness. So the visa officials, they expect you to be truth because in their blood, it's in their law. They do not want to deal with some fake students who come up with some fake documents. It could come up some fake commitments, or could show the fake previous academic documents. Yes, you are here with all and correct and the information. Whatever you speak to the visa officer is honest. A false statement can lead to permanent eligibility. So what happens, sometimes the visa officer asks, do you have anyone in the US? Your family stays there, or probably your mom, dad, brother, sister is there, but you try to hide that. But on their day as 160, able to find that you got a brother in California, you are going to California to, so it could be some other reason. And sometimes you're going to deny just because of your lying to the visa officer. But if you speak honestly and say that brother there in California, but I'm going to New Jersey, you could still get the visa. So it's something that we really need to hide from the visa officer. That's it. Okay, serious student. The great majority of international applicants who apply for F1 are applying for the visa because they sincerely want to complete the course of study. So a serious student is having a good marks, good English skill, sufficient resources to pay, and a reasonable plan for a career after graduation. So why they are looking for a serious student? Because we have every day 5,000 students apply for the visa interview in all the embassies. Every day, Monday to Friday, 25,000 people in a week in 5 embassies. And for your information, Bangalore, we're going to have one more embassy pretty soon. 5 embassies, 25,000 students in a week's time. How could they filter the one who are good versus the one who are not good? By knowing that if you are a serious student, you have a good academic, you have good English skills, you have sufficient funding, you have a reasonable plan to come back to the home country, which is India. So here, students need to know that if you're going to the US, you should know about it. You're going to a university, you should know about the university, you should be a professor, you should know about the weather, like in every related information with the university. Okay? Third thing, sufficient funding. So immigration law requires that all international students applying for an F1 student in the US must have available liquid assets, okay? At least for the first academic year. If you are going to the United States or any other country, you have to have the sufficient funding, because neither Indian government nor the abroad government are liable for your higher education. It's your decision. It was your family's decision. So they should come up with some plan of study, some plan of sponsoring you, right? If you have a sponsorship level, they would offer you a visa, because at the end of the day, you should not end up saying that I have nothing and I am in the States. then it's their responsibility to either give a tuition fee or send you back home. So the visa officer are only going to issue any student visa when they have sufficient funding. Sometimes they ask for the documents, sometimes don't. But and most important, which is last but not the least, does the student have sufficient ties to home country? At the time of initial visa interview for an F1 visa, the intent of student must not to be in the US or try to stay there. Now how to prove? Because you have family, you got economic, you got employment, you got social, you got emotional ties. One of the important thing which every student needs to know is I'm not going there for forever. If you have planned to stay in the US, get settled down there. You want to marry an American, we don't mind. But the visa requirement is that you should talk about your comeback plans. When you go to internet, you find many answers that, well, I'll come back to India because I'll have a good job. I'll have better job. And visa sir know that out of 5,000 you are also one student, asking them the very same thing. The reality is, in my previous slide, it's mentioned there, it should be a reasonable plan. So you do not think that the visa officers are fool and would talk to you about, okay, I'll come back, and they'll say, oh, you'll come back, great. Because every student, even before going to the visa officer, is learning from the internet about different things. So it should not be that you say that you will come back, but you tell them why you will come back. It's not that you say that I'll get a good job, but you better say that why you'll get a good job, how you will get a good job. A job going to wait for you in Manyata Tech Park, where you could come a flight, get down to Manyata High Tech City, and then you have 10 jobs. The employer is running behind you. Yeah, but I have a job. Can you work in my company? Is it going to be the scenario? Of course not. So you need to talk to them about if somebody is going for computer science, project management, MBA, healthcare, IT, electrical engineering, what sort of options you have, how your industry is moving. That's what we talk about. Okay. Very important that you talk about that while you'll come back, but it's not just the dummy things that I'll come back one day. You should talk about why, how, what will ask you to come back. Probably it could be your family, it could be your employment ties, that you could be given a better job opportunities, what kind of job opportunities, what something which you need to learn. Okay? And then article from the US Embassy 214B, so there will be many students whose visa has been denied, and that was under 214B section. And you wonder what this 214B is. For all students who have attended the visa interview, when your visa has been denied, that's one thing which you need to know. If you're gotten 214B, why did you get it? Even if you spoke to them something about your coming back and seriousness, but you still have gotten the 214B section, because this means is that the visa officer is told to believe that you are going to immigrate in the US. So it will convince him or her that you do not intend to immigrate, but instead are planning to go to the US, study for your master's or bachelor's, and then so exactly if you've been gotten the 214B, that's the default thing, that you were not able to convince the officer that you will be coming back home. Because if you spoke to them about, I'll come back, I'll have better opportunities. How? That was unsaid. That was something which you weren't able to explain the visa officer. And like other students have been telling, will come back, you're also telling them come back. And you will, I mean, they understand that you're never going to come back. So for the ones, you must not get a form of a denial from the visa officers. That means that they are told to believe that a person you are interviewing, to whom you are seeing and who is answering, it is you. And let's say I'm a visa officer. I setting inside me that I'm interviewing you, you'll, if you'll not come back, what is your job? Your job is to convince me I will come back. And when I say convince, it's a big term. When I say you need to tell them, that means you will tell them I'll come back. But when I say you need to convince them, then you need to tell them why you will come back. So you guys need to know that there are certain things which you plan, and I'm not saying that come up with some great ideas that I wanna make an a Bollywood film, and for this I'll work with the superstars in Bollywood. How much budget do you have? You hardly can sponsor yourself for your studies. How could you make that? So let's not talk about the imaginary things in life you could do. So if you are, let's say if you are the healthcare, the kind of jobs you can get, the kind of hospitals you could improve in, the kind of quality services you could give them. Okay? So let's not talk about that. I'm going to 10 hospitals like Apollo. No. Did you plan something? You're outlining anything which you have? A visa officer ask you the questions about. So before that, take the recommended documents. So every student has a question: what document should I travel with? They should have an admission letter, I-20, CVs, DS-160 copy, visa application fee, your bank statement, your sponsor bank statement, or it could affidavit of support, which is also called as in sponsor letter. Then you should have the transcript, you should have the IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT. The best thing, if you could do that, if you could just take your employers who will give you a promise of job. How you could be hired when you come back from the US. If you have this letter from any employer, you could show this to the visa officer. Honestly, that's going to be the biggest one, that you could just explain the visa officer that I've been already hired, I've got an employer has promised me to give a job. How about that? I am going to study my master's. I'm going to join here as a project manager. If you could have this, I know it's not simple, but if you can have this, visa is confirmed. If you've appeared for GRE, GMAT, TOEFL, SAT, just go ahead and take the document with you. Have your letter of recommendation, your SOP, your entire financial documents, your bank statement, year report. If you're showing that you got a property, then if you could just keep the copy of the properties. Okay? Original is recommended, but the copy. Visa Consulate looks like whenever your number has been called, you need to go and stand in front of visa, and the trainer is going to tell you how you're going to stand. So just going to be next 2 minutes or 3 minutes for me. So you need to speak, you need to smile. This is how you will be interviewed. So you can see the officer is asking, and a student is there who is standing in front. One thing which you need to learn from this picture is, like, you can see that the visa officer is being serious, but the student is smiling in front of the visa officer while answering. What it shows, I'll tell you. Just wait for some second. Okay, and if him something the way up you could get your visa, see your picture right there. So generally, what kind of questions ask you? Of course, they are not there to check your skill level. They are not there to ask you any thing. Okay, they just want to know that something which I told you: your honesty, your seriousness, your sufficient, and your home ties. For this, they could ask you, why do you want to go to the US, or for which school are you applying? And if you're changing your major, they'll talk to you about why are you changing what the US education is. If you go to Canada, there is no visa interview, and you need to put all the things in a paper, send it in a file to them. They check everything, and if you change your major and they not find a reasonable answer for your changing the major, they deny you. At this time, if anybody has done BTech and going to psychology, it's still possible if you tell them why. So no harm is doing my BCom to MBA. What if they ask you to BCom to MBA? If you have anything in mind, you could still tell them and they're gonna believe it. How did you find out about the school for which you are applying? Please tell us why you picked this school and how you intend to use the degree you obtained from the school. What other schools did you apply or research? Why did you decide not to continue with any of the school? Why are you not going to the school in your home country? Always want to know that why not in India? So you pay in dollars, it's almost 70 rupees a dollar. Why you want to spend your thousands of dollars there instead of you can go and study in your home country? So you know that there are certain reasons that you want to go to the US. How is a degree from this school going to better your economic position? This is a question to check economic ties. What kind of employment opportunities will be available for you when you return back to your own country? This is a question to check your employment type. How much is your sponsored statement is? How are you going to fund your second year of school? Do you have any documentation proof where the money came from? Honestly, when you applied for your admission, you handed over 1 day bank statement, if you remember. Here, it's gonna be for at least a month history, which you're going to explain or show to the visa officer, because they want to know that this is their sponsor's money. They genuinely have in their bank statement to sponsor you. Who is the contact person and the contact information for the school which you're applying? Every time when you have an I-3, just check the first page. It has the Dean of Academics, which is also called as DSO, Designated Officer. You can see the name and the address is always given there. Okay. What is your dream job after you graduate from this school? Honestly, you should know that what job are looking for. Ultimately, everybody here, no matter applying for a bachelor's or master's or DBA or PhD, you gotta come back, right? That's the goal. You wanna come back. If you do not want to come back, the goal is that you want to study. You need a great job. You want to earn $1,000, right? So which year did you pass out from your bachelor's? TOEFL, what's your future planning, your health, but include your honesty, your seriousness, your sufficient funding, and your ties. Your visa will be approved. Now, doesn't mean that you have reached to your destination in the US, but we will explain you how you could travel and what kind of documents you could take with you. If you have heard recently, the visa students who have been stopped at the California airport in Hyderabad because they were coming up with lack of documents. So you guys need to make sure that when you get it, you report us. We'll talk to university and we are planning your travel accordingly. So the visa tips. Okay, ties to your home country. Be concise, confident, speak for yourself, maintain a positive attitude, convincing employment future plans. So there's two things which you really need to know. Why US, why this university? It's simple, right? If you're going to the US, why? It does not mean that the visa officer is only looking for this answer. Why US? To do my MBA. Good. But do you think that it's been solved? That was the visa officer's goal to know. He could see that you are going there for an MBA. This is not the answer, but you should talk to them a little bit more about yourself. So, well, I'm going to US for my higher education. I am having 5 years of experience after my computer science, and I am a technical guy, but this time I'm looking for project management. For this, I've chosen Pace University, and it's going to give me back in the top MNC in Hyderabad in the project management. Uh, you talk to them about your MBA. You should always know your plans of study, your vision, how life is going to be in your home country, and then why this university. So in US, it's 4634, 4,634 universities. So which university you're going, why you think it's the best fit for you. That's what you need to learn. Okay, so the body language. Here you have to make sure that you know how are you doing at the time of interview. Do you think you know how you should talk, look, behave in front of the visa officer? I have a special person with me. So I introduced Michelle Kapoor, and she's gonna tell you, because what we prepared is just the 7%, and that's what she told me this noon. So even if you know that you are an honest, you are a serious applicant, you have sufficient funding, you have sufficient ties of coming back home, you think that you could still get the visa? No. Trust me, your visa is going to last for 3 to 7 minutes. And in this 3 to 7 minutes, you really need to show that you are a great applicant who deserves the visa, which you could talk to them about, not only about telling them with your language. So let me introduce Ms. Shelly Kapoor, and she's going to give you a couple of tips how you could succeed while you're standing. So the content is what I've covered. She's here to tell you about your body language. Okay, so over and out. Please put your questions and I'm going to answer that. Thank you.
Hello, this is Shelly Kapoor here. Let me give you a brief introduction about myself. I've done my master's in personal management, and then I did a course in family dynamics. I've done my B.Ed, and then I've done quite a few trainings on body language and your counseling and guidance and various other things. So what I'm going to discuss here today is my years of professional experience, which I'm sharing, and what I've read and what I've experienced. So to begin with, if I ask you, how many languages do you know? Most of you, when I'm speaking, you can actually answer to your own self. Most of you would say 3, at the max 4 would be English, Hindi, and your regional language. So 3 languages we're talking of. And what if I say that you know one more language, and that's your body language? Generally what we do is we learn how to speak, what to speak for the interview. But what we ignore is that how our body language is supposed to be. And that's a big, big giveaway. Believe me, you may have learned what to speak. You have learned the answers. But if you've not learned or practiced your body language, the interviewer is going to gauge that very moment that what you're saying is just practiced, and that's not the truth. So we know body language is the language, right? Now, if we talk of communication, we have non-verbal communication, as you can see, then the verbal communication. What part of it is the non-verbal? That's the body language. Believe me, there's been a lot of research done on this, and body language is 55%, which is observed and not, we don't actually bother about it. Today, somebody asks you a question, and somebody asks you, how do you do? There's one way to say, I'm fine. And the other way you say, I'm fine. So both the instances, what are you learning about the person? One person is just saying, fine. The other is saying, I'm fine. So it tells you about the approach. One has a casual approach, what sort of approach does the other person have? So the vocal elements is the 38%, and what we actually speak, that is what we have learned, that just 7% of it. So now when we know that body language is 55% of what we are, that's what we're going to learn today. 1 minute. How do I turn the page? It's not moving. 1 minute, just hold on. It's not moving. Yes.
Okay.
So, coming back to our session, the word soften, S-O-F-T-E-N, what does it mean to you? Any guesses? You'll say it means soft, it means kind, it means you have to mellow down, but this 6 letters, they cover your interview as in when we talk of body language. The word will go by it, but word by word, the letter by letter. The word is soften, and we'll be understanding how to face the interview by taking each word at a time, each letter at a time. So the letter S, that stands for smile. As you enter, we don't expect you to give a big smile over there. No. And neither do we want you to just sulk and be there. Hello, sir. That's not right. What you're supposed to do is have a pleasant smile on the face. As you're standing in front of the interviewer, you're just supposed to greet him with a gentle smile. Good morning, sir. That's just as gentle as it could be. No overdoing, no underdoing. Just be as you are. The next word is O. S-O. O stands for open body language. Now this is divided into, when I'm talking to you, you can see I'm using my arms, my hands, my feet. The way I'm sitting, that's not visible. So the first part is the arms. We are not supposed to move it too much like this. It's just supposed to be kept at a level where it shows that you're open to discussions, you're open to varied cultures, you're open to different people, you're open to answer the questions to the interviewer. And while answering, your palms are supposed to be kept upwards. That's like this. It's not supposed to be kept like this. Neither do we use this. Pointing is not at all allowed. When you're answering, you could just smile and use your hands like this. And then comes the hands. Where do you keep your hands? In the pockets? On the hips while standing? Or crossed? Now crossed would mean that you're not open. You're hiding something. But are we actually hiding something? Or do we want to hide something? That's a big question. So the best way is to keep your palms open, facing upwards, move your hands which is not too distractive, but at the same time, instead of crossing it like this, you could use a movement which is this. This is called stippling. Even if you have to, while I'm talking to you, you ask me a question, and while I'm replying, I would say, well, I think when I'm doing this, stippling is the perfect way. I hope you can see me. Yeah. So this is a better way while we are answering. You could be standing like this or keeping your hands like this. Now the feet. When we come to the feet, though the interviewer is not able to see you, but if you stand with crossed feet, it's very visible. Like when you're standing, we do not expect you to stand with crossed feet, hands side to side, because you feel okay, they're just observing this part of the body. But when we're doing this, is also visible. So you're supposed to stand well positioned with your feet synchronized with your shoulders, and you raise your hands. That's just a practice which you'll do at home. You raise your hands, put them down. That's the correct posture for you to stand. Though initially you may feel odd that, you know, what the other person may feel, but that's the most convenient posture for somebody to, when they're looking at you, that's how you can come across as a genuine person. You can move your hands time to time, open your arms, and legs well positioned. I hope that's clear. Now coming to the next one, S-O-F. F stands for the forward lean. So in case you have to face the interview where you're supposed to be sitting, we expect you to lean a little forward. Because when we are leaning, we're telling the person that we are interested. I am interested, like while talking to you, I'm leaning a little forward that shows I'm interested in talking to you, isn't it? And if we are standing, it's a stand like this, and you could, while answering, you could just lean a little forward. Because if I'm leaning back, that means I'm hiding something or I'm withdrawing. There's something which I want to withdraw. Coming to the next word, most of us that comes just to it just becomes that they are, you know, are those like so these intonations are absolute no. The tone has to be soft, controlled. Go slow with your words. There's no hurry. I know you've just got 3 to 5 to 7 to 8 minutes, that's it. But while answering, if you're in a hurry, maybe there are things you might miss out. Maybe you're not able to put across to the interviewer what you're actually trying to say. So keep your tone soft, as gentle as you can be, and eliminate the words like like. I ask you, what's your name? And you say, my name is Shelly. How does that sound? And I say, what's your name? The other answers it, my name is Shelly. So what did you eliminate? The sound that has to be practiced, that this sound is not to be used. Then you come to the next one. We've done S, O, F, T. The next one is the E. Now E stands for the eye contact. This is a very important point when you're going for the interview. Because as it is, we know that he can see this much part of your body. And when we converse, even while I'm talking to somebody, eye contact proves that what I'm saying is I'm truthful. I am looking at the other person, and what I am communicating is not hidden. I'm very open about what I'm saying. But at the same time, when you're looking at the person, you cannot be staring at him like this. No. You're at a comfortable position. You just look at him. Whatever your answer is. So we see that the eyes wandered, but they again came back. So don't keep it in looking at him, just staring at him. That has to be avoided. The gaze could come back, it could wander, come back, but if I look up all the time, I'm not looking at him, what does it show? I'm not interested, I'm nervous, or what sir has always been telling you, be truthful. If I'm not looking at him, maybe I'm hiding something or looking down. I do not have the confidence. So why would anybody want a person who's not confident to go out, to come to their country? Confidence is one of the basic things, one of the basic necessities. You may have cleared your exams, but why is it that we are not able to make through the interview? Because at times what we lack is the confidence. And that the major part of is through your eye contact. So we did S, O, F, T, E, and last comes the N. That comes for the nod. I do not want you to keep nodding all the time. You don't want to show that you are a over sincere student or over diligent, or whatever you do is, don't do it over. Just keep it to the bare minimum what is required. Nod only when you understand. Nod only when you're being told what to do. Nod if you agree to what you're being told and you agree to it, nod only then. What if I just keep nodding like this? What will he, what is he going to gauge? That maybe I'm not even listening to him. I've just learned a few things and just answering. So the nod has to come at the perfect time. So we did the word soften, the 6 letters S, O, F, T, E, N. So this has to be practiced, practice, practice, practice till the time you feel you're perfect. There's no limit to it. You can practice in front of the mirror, you can practice with us, you could practice with your friend. Don't hesitate, because those 5 minutes are going to decide your career. So practice as much as you can and don't shy away. We all have fears for that matter. You too may have fears, but one of the basic requirements is to overcome fear. Now you may say, how do I overcome fear? Everybody tells me, don't feel scared, be confident. But my dear friends, that just takes practice. If you see our president, our prime minister, Mr. Modi, listen to the interviews which he used to give as he became the prime minister and then to what he speaks now. You'll feel he's very, very candid. It comes naturally to him, but he has a team who trains him. He has a team who listens to him before he comes on the stage. He has a team to tell him how to move his hands, how to use his body language. So when our prime minister is using it, why not us? Isn't it? So we have to overcome fear, practice as much as you can. And I'm just reminded of Shah Rukh Khan, what he normally says. I don't know how many of you are his fans, but he says that when I started working, the only thing which I was scared of was losing. So don't let that fear overcome you. Let it become your positive aspect. Because you do not want to lose, because you want to overcome, because you want to win, because you want to go. You want to clear the interview. Let that fear be your positive aspect, and whenever you need help, we are always there for you. Over to you, sir.
Okay, so I'm back. So what did you learn today? Did you learn the entire meaning of soften and the seriousness and the honesty? So now you have learned from the ma'am about 93% to get your success, because I covered only 7%. So I got to learn this today as well. So it's important for you, you know, the way you're going to talk to the visa officer. Even they've been trained, just like what ma'am was saying, that even our prime minister, and we have trainers who train them. So I feel like you all are prime minister and we are training you there, right? So you could do your best at the time of visa interview. Trust me, if you could just make sure that these are the factors which we need to talk to them about, and the way ma'am explained you, if you could just show and, you know, use that different tactics to make yourself a very deserving candidate for the visa interview. Let me tell you this, you are getting it. No one can snatch that from you. So you're gonna get your visa for sure. So now I'm gonna take, it's almost like 10 minutes left, and I would more than welcome to take the questions and answer them. So yes, so let's start and ask us any question. I've got ma'am sitting here in front of me. Any question for us will help every other student to learn about it. Okay, so expected Imran Ghani. Hi Abby, this is Imran. This week I'm gonna attend the second attempt. What I have to answer them if why I got rejected last time. For every student, if your visa has been rejected once, the first thing which you need to do is to send us the visa transcripts, which we have been telling you. You need to send that to us. We will check your visa transcripts to know what could be the reason of rejection. So Imran, specifically on your reason of rejection, I need to check, and I'll go through your visa transcripts if you have sent us already. If not, I'm gonna go over it. If a student is going for the second time, which I wish that I'm gonna prepare a different slides for only one who got denial for the very first time. So even before I tell the answer, let me tell you this, that even if you do not get the visa in the very first attempt, trust me, visa officers are there to issue you the visa. So if you don't get it once, don't feel depressed, don't feel sad about it. Let's try one more time. Because it's just that you need to prove them. Sometimes it's not your day, even if you do good, but you do not get the visa. And because visa officers, you could always see them flooded with students all the time. So they do mistakes. They know this. It's been there. It's been learned from them that they do mistakes. And they always encourage students to apply twice, thrice, probably fourth time or fifth time. We have students who got it first time, second, third, fourth. So this always has been recommended to the students that you could go ahead and do the visa interview one more time and try to put something else. So if anybody is going for the second time, what do you need to know additional of what we have already spoken to you about today? What new you have this time? See, visa officer cannot issue a visa on your old profile, because if you have not changed anything and one visa officer has denied and ma'am has given you the visa, that means it comes to us, to the visa officer, that one is giving me, other one is denying me. So every visa officer has been told, just like 214B, they feel you're going to be an immigrant and you need to prove and convince them, just like on a second time, if you do not talk about the new information, you don't get the visa. Because whomever visa interviewer is going to be, it could be the same person, it could be a different person, but if you don't tell them that I have new information this time, I made some changes in my profile, there is no way you can get the visa. Is this fine to deposit the money before one day? See, it's still fine, because for 70% they don't even look on your finance document. But if you come in that 30% circle where they do check the documents, if they see it's only one day, sometimes they learn that probably you have arranged it from somewhere and they don't get the visa, they don't give you the visa, and they don't tell you the reason. So you'll feel I still did a good job, but I don't know what they denied my visa. So it is always there that you could have at least 1 month of transaction history. If you can. If you cannot, at least 10 days, 7 days, 5 days. If not, then even the 1 day gonna work. May I have the recording of this webinar? Of course. You got. Please share the actual answer of why US, why not UK, Canada, Australia, European University, what the real fact in terms of living cost tuition in each country. Okay, if you're going to talk about all these details to the visa officer, they're straight away going to reject you. So you have to be point to point. If his question is, why US, why not India or other country, let's specific, talk about it. That why US and why not other countries. So let me answer that for you, okay? So you're going to talk about why US, why not UK, Australia or other countries? Because the education in the US considered as the most flexible education. Why? Because you could complete your masters from 2 to 3 years. You can take the summer vacation, work for the full time. But you don't have to tell them. But it's the most flexible education. It gives you the best international exposure. I feel the best answer to this kind of question is, sir, my goal is to come back to India. So then I got to decide which country can give me the best exposure. Even if I go to Europe, I could get the exposure, but if I go to US, that gives me best exposure when I come back to India after my higher education. That has more millions of billions of dollars spending on the research side. So you could, even if you are interested, you could talk about that research side of yours where you could participate yourself into this. But even if you go to UK, Canada, you have, every country has their own importance, I mean, your likes and dislikes, but US is the place, has been the only place which gives you the best exposure when you come back. And that's the goal. You need to tell them that why you're going to come back India. So you say that my goal is to come back India. Now I need to choose from the country where I can get the best exposure. So I see US and Canada are the two options. So when I saw out of US and Canada which country to go, I chosen US. Reason being choosing US was because that gives me even best exposure than the Canada. And then the education system, the flexibility of education, my professors, and you need to know about the university, everything, and you could talk to them about. if visa officer asks why you chose Westcliff out of more than 4,000 university, what made you choose this university? You're asking me and I'm asking you this question. Why did you choose Westcliff University? So honestly, whatever you know about the university is what you need to speak about. But I can still answer that to you. So if you ask me this type of question, it looks like you're very kiddish. You really need to know why we eat food, right? So I need to tell you that this is the reason, these are the reason you eat food. So you need to know, why did you apply? You're asking me, but I'm asking you, why did you choose Westcliff University? It's not just because someone at the study metro told you to choose, but you have your own likes and dislikes. Probably this is the truth. We told you that you could get into Westcliff and you are going to Westcliff, but you are going to Westcliff. Why not you talk about it? Why not you know and learn everything about Westcliff University? See, not everyone can get into the Howard or Yale or Cornell or John Hopkins University, right? Not everybody in India can go to AIMS to do the medical degree, not to IIMs to do the BA, right? So we are people, we have our own likes and dislikes. You need to talk about why did you choose Westcliff University? It's in Irvine, California. It's at the very biggest city, Los Angeles, right, in California. You could get the best exposure of diverse students coming from all over the world. You know, so there are two types of university. One who gives you an opportunity to sit with international students in 150 students, and there is a professor who do not even know your name, come, give you the lecture and goes. And then if you need any question, you follow up all the time with the professor. But there are certain other university which has only 15 students in a class, and you know professor's name and professors know your name, and you have the personal interaction. Even at the class, then you are more into participating. Westcliff is one of the university where you could find all these things. That's the reason you have chosen it. Nisha Purohit says, thank you so much, Nisha. Darpan, I'm from Gujarat and it's going to be a matter if I choose Hyderabad or any other embassy instead of Mumbai. See, this has been the questions been asked by many students to me. Your territory say that you need to go to Mumbai if you're from Gujarat, MP, CG and Maharashtra. If you are going to Hyderabad, you have AP, Telangana. These are the students who come from the states. If you have a particular reason about going to Hyderabad, you could still go. I mean, no one say why did you come here. They'll ask you, but you need to give them a reasonable answer about it. Even if you want, you can go to Kolkata. When you have your relatives settled in the US, why you won't stay and will return? Harpreet, good. I saw your question. Good to see this. See, whenever you have your family, relatives, brother, sister, it's not necessarily that you are also going to immigrate there. Why? Because if you do not have, still people are going to the US for higher education. What matters is if you say that I've got my aunt staying in Michigan and there's one of the reason I've applied to Michigan State University East Lansing, then it looks like that you've chosen the university not seeing the standard, but just because you wanted to have a university nearby your family, because you want to save your living cost. Even if you have brother, I have people, Naga Shashanka, who recently got the visa about a year ago. His brother was there in Texas. He was going to California. He's been told by his brother to lie and don't tell the truth. And when he took the visa training from me, I said you have to be truthful. And trust me, his brother is in Texas. He was going to California. His sister was in Chicago, settled down there. That's okay. You talk about what it is. Even if you have a family, but it shows that if you have a clear intention of studying in the US and coming back, you have a firm plan, no matter who stay in the US, you could still get it. If they ask you how do you know this university, what should be the best answer? See, Over the internet, you could find all 4,634 universities. Out of 4,634 university, 4,000 university in the US who travels around the world. You could have attended any webinar, seminar, or you could have learned about this because you specifically wanted to go to California. Or a particular course, Neeraj, where are you going for your higher education? You could always talk to them about it. This could be the reason I'm choosing. So I'm going to California. I got to know about Pacific State University in Los Angeles. One of the reasons I've chosen Los Angeles because that is the biggest city of California after San Francisco, or it could be San Francisco on the first side or second side. It gives me an opportunity to have the biggest. So LA is considered as one of the Hollywood city, just like you have Mumbai as Bollywood city. So thousands of reasons you could talk about to learn about this. All they want to learn. So trust me, why they are asking this silly question that how did you hear about it? This is a stupid question if a visa officer is asking you. How did you hear about it? Well, of course, it does not come on, you do not see an advertisement with right after the PEP student at Westcliff University take admission. So I've seen everything on website, online. But there is a reason behind asking this question. What did you research about this university? What do you know about the university? That's the entire goal of asking this question. So always know, when they ask you, why or where did you hear about this university? You must talk about, well, I've heard about this university online while I was checking a couple of universities in California, but then you name other universities as well. And then you say, and the reason of going to this university is 1, 2, 3, 4. So every student here who's listening to me, listen to these two things very carefully. On my visa tips, I've just mentioned 2 questions. It's 5 o'clock. So we spoke about 10 things, but only 2 things which you really need to remember. Why US? Why this university? Again, the goal is just not that you should tell them in a line, why US to do my MBA? Why this university? Well, because this university is located in Texas. This is not something they want to listen from you. They know that this university location is where and where are you going for MBA or MS. The goal is to learn about your profile. So students, let's talk to them, give them some idea. If you go for an interview, or even if you are an employer takes an interview, first of all you ask people that tell me something about you, so that you at least get to learn about it. So you do not say, okay, tell me your father name. That's the first question. And say, what are you going to do with my dad? I mean, why are you asking my dad name? Where do you live? So what are you going to do with it, right? So the question here is that if you give that liberty of explaining yourself to the visa officer, that who you are, what your goal is, what do you want to do. Once you have this, they have better understanding about you. Okay? So thank you so much. I think I've answered, no, I've got a couple of other questions. But isn't it matter when we are applying in high grade university or lower grade university? Is it matter for granting visa? Okay, that one. As I said, not everyone can get into IIM or AIMS or all the big institutions around the world. So this high grade and low grade could be something that when a university has been in the education field since 200 years, and then there is a university who is considered as a low grade, but it's still 30 years. So there is no high grade, low grade. So when I ask you this question, Drapan, that do you know on a Bollywood who is number 1? You'll say Shah Rukh Khan. You'll say Hrithik Roshan. You'll say Salman Khan, because I watch his Sultan and I like that. But I'll say, can you tell me what is the number of Shakti Kapoor? You'll say, huh? I'm sorry, no comparison, right? But he's still an actor, right? So the university who are on the top side you could still consider them as a good ranking. But even if a university who does not come on a ranking, you need to check their accreditation. So let's say if I have a university where I'm going has a regional accreditation and it comes under top 100, and you are going to a university which probably have no ranking but still a regional accreditation, your university and my university is still on the same page. There is no high grade, no low grade. So every university, when they issue you the I-20, they have gone through the entire process from the Department of Homeland Security. So when you think it's a small university, why you cannot go to a small university? What is wrong in going to a small university? Nothing. Okay, so I've got another question. Can we give the reason that the university is low cost? That's why I opted this? Of course, why not? You could always talk about it. See, everybody here has some financial constraint. So I could have somebody who come and say, I've got $1 lakh budget and I could easily opt for any university. Some says my parents or the bank loan could be given to us back $30,000. So you could all that your university is the university where your parents can easily afford. What's the question? The study metro visa orientation webinar is sufficient before going for the visa interview? Suman, yes. This has been designed by one of the former immigration lawyer who was and still is my boss. It's very important, Suman, for you to learn. You could go and do all the researches over. You cannot have a single thing which could something that we have missed in our visa training session. So if you learn this, all we encourage you to do is to have your own answer. I'm not here to tell you the answer. I'm here to tell you the basics. We are also here, just like ma'am explained, today to talk to you about the your posture, your way you're talking, the whole soften and the detail about it. But that's it. If you prepare this, no matter what, you're getting it. But you need to know your own answer. Do I have to tell that I have a sister living in the US? Vijay, if you have a sister living in the US, let's tell them this. No problem. Darpan, unless and until you do not talk about the new information, your visa could be rejected all the time. If you are changing your university, you are changing your major, you are changing your consulate, that's okay. But what changes they look for is if you have made your profile better. So giving an example, here you said that we are applying in MBA by chance, we are not getting visa, and second time we are applying in different course. So let's say you are a Bachelor of Science holder, you wanted to go on management side, but you are not getting the visa. You thought, let's go and apply for MSCS. Now we're going for MSCS. Changing your major is not that helpful, but explaining about why you change the major. So let's say the example is second time for my interview, and I have come here today because last time I applied for MBA. My visa got rejected. I thought, let's compare MSCS, MBA. I've checked in India, the growth I've been seeing is 5 times more than an MBA. So I've changed my major, and I know that after MSCS, I'm going to get $60,000 job in India. It could be in Ahmedabad, where I stay. I could have my family can stay with me, can have a better life here. I've got many questions. See, we are running out of time. Actually, I have applied to West University only. How many universities applied and received? See, if you are a single person, you'll go to one university. The only thing visa officer asks you is how many other schools you have applied for, just to know that if you are a serious applicant. Just like you go, and this time summer sales going on, so you go to every big shopping mall, you go buy shirt, you go to Louis Philippe, just like I bought a new shirt as well. So and you see 40%, then you go to other brand, you see 30%, then you see buy two get one free. You think, oh, that's the best thing I should know. When you are there to buy it and you are a serious buyer, you go to 5 different showrooms to buy a shirt. Similarly, when you go and spend your $30,000, they want to know that if you have just checked and researched a little bit about the different universities, you have option of choosing out of 4,635, right? So now what they want to learn from you? They want to learn from you that even if you apply to one school, you have the knowledge about other school. Just like you bought a shirt from Louis Philippe, but you knew that there was 30% going on at Puma, it was 40%, Indigo Nation there was 50%, just like this. Okay, since you have completed your PG from the UK, why not UK again? Yes, that's a good question. But if you have studied already in the UK, I've already taken the exposure, how about I go to US and learn new things there, right? That's the answer. I've completed my MBA Finance, simultaneously working as well, so shall I tell the visa interview that I was working and studying as well? See, you could tell them, there is no problem, Samiruddin. When you talk to them, say that I have completed my MBA. I remember that you're going for a double MBA. So the question here is that why double MBA? So I've got Harpreet also was going for double MBA. So students, you can always go for double MBA, but one thing which you need to make sure that at least you change your major. So somebody has completed already in finance and going again for finance. So are you going there for revising everything which you studied? So you need to just change your major. That's something which you need to remember. Okay. Do I have to tell that I have a sister living in the US? And then I can see you said, but I didn't mention in the DS-160. If you have not mentioned in the DS-160, you can change your DS-160. If you cannot change, still I would say you have to be honest with the visa officer. See, something which couldn't give you the visa is your bad luck. Probably visa officer is not in mood, whatever. But I'm here at this podium not there to tell you any wrong thing which could lead to permanent eligibility. If you have a friend or sister, tell them I have it, whether you mention or not. Okay, so I've got Josephine. Okay, I've completed B, but I was not work-related field. If the interviewer asks me, why don't you work in software field? So could you please tell me how to attend those type of issues? Now, if you have not done it, then we are not here to tell you any excuse about it. But whatever you did, you could talk about it. So even if you did not work, what you did and how it is correlation, what is the correlation of your work, whatever you did, plus whatever you're working here. So that's something which you really need to make sure that you learn about it. Okay, so I've completed the BE, and if you have not done anything for the next 2 years, probably you've been working somewhere else, tell them that. And I'm gonna do that one-on-one. Actually, I applied for how the visa. Okay, I think we are done here. We are done here. Thank you so much, guys. Whoever is listening to me, I've got Kavita in Indore office. I've got Kulsum in Bangalore office. You need to set up a time to talk to me one-on-one. Trust me. It could be tomorrow. It could be day after. It could be after that. You need to just email your request with the time you are comfortable with. And I'm going to call you that time, probably, hopefully if you have Skype ID, you do this, that you send your Skype ID, send it to kavita@studymetro.com or care@studymetro.com. But you guys need to talk to me one-on-one on your visa interview. If anybody is there, I want to know that how the body language session has been helpful for you. Whether it was not. If you want to talk to ma'am one-on-one about it, I want to see your feedback on it. You could be reachable. Email Kavita, she sits in this office, kavita@studymetro.com, or talk to your respective counselor about it, or our different offices in Gujarat. Make sure that you talk to us before you go for your interview. Thank you so much. Really appreciated that. And we'll talk to you one-on-one soon. Thank you so much. Maybe you're going to say bye to them?
Yeah, okay. So now last thing which I would like to tell you all is when you're going for the interview, just be passionate with your answers. You've learned it, sir has told you, you've rehearsed it, but one of the major things is passion. You cannot learn somebody else's answer and go. So passion, your own passion. Why, what, where, that's what you are passionate about. And I know you all will do it well. Thank you.
Okay, fellas, let's set up a one-on-one meeting and I'll talk.